It's a little sad because he's still there, but he's changed his name to Jim. And we got Jim. He's laughing. The reason we say that is I don't know if any of the others, if anybody out there listens to any other kind of podcasts and that stuff on the over streaming on the radio or whatever, but all the other podcast hosts call their producers Jim. Well, I told Mark that just a couple of minutes ago, and he laughed like he just did there. So we're going to call him Producer Jim from now on. I'm just joking, but we have our own. We got Producer Mark, and he's there behind the glass and helping us do everything we need to do. Well, Mark, I am driving down the road, and I'm wearing my sunglasses because it is sunny. I'm in my truck. I could show people the road a little bit here in a minute. I'm on my iPhone, so I can't really see the switch screen thing very much. Here it is. So now that's what I'm looking at out the front. We're in the farmland of Idaho, railroad track on the right, truck in front of us, farmhouses on the left, trucks coming towards us. And I guarantee if we were counting them, for every 10 vehicles that go by us one way or the other, 7 of them are trucks. They aren't cars. So anyway, rural Idaho, about what, Brad, an hour and 15 minutes or so from where I live. So anyway, put your comments in the chat, raise your hand, and Mark will unmute you if you want to talk with us. You pick the topic. This is Talk with Wayne. Well, Mark, what do you see there? We got anybody put some chat in yet?
No, I don't see.
The reason I have my sunglasses on is the sun is shining right in my face. So I can see the screen, but I can't see much else. I won't be able to read anything, that's for sure.
Right.
I'll switch it back to looking at me and my sunglasses. So Brad and I were just up at our rigging site, and we drove a big trailer load up, and we're driving back. And I got upset at him earlier today because we're driving, as they call, deadheaded, meaning we got no load. And he goes, "I'm the driver. You're the one that's supposed to get the load." And I said, "You're right. You're right. I didn't get us a load." So anyway, again, I'm here for you. I've got some topics I'd love to chat about, but anything's fair game except for sex, drugs, religion, and politics. So anyway, even though those last two could work, we never talk about it. So anyway. Let's talk about hemp a little bit. I was at the National Western Stock Show last Saturday, the largest event in terms of attendance in a year in Colorado. That says a lot because there's some big concerts, big other things, but over 2 million people over a 16-day period come to see a whole bunch of exhibits, eat cotton candy, eat popcorn, watch a rodeo, very good one, watch livestock competitions, see different people singing, all kinds of things. Anyway, a booth there, they have exhibitors that have farm-related stuff. They were selling pelleted livestock feed in pellets, which all of us that raise animals do something where we feed pellets. It's a way you can concentrate grain or concentrate alfalfa, concentrate hay even, although I've not really seen hay pellets. I've seen lots of alfalfa pellets. But this was hemp pellets. And Brad was asking me, what is the value of hemp? And it's got very similar protein that a really good alfalfa will have, or really good grass hay will have. It's got similar just concentrations of other the major things, and carbohydrates and other things. It's got a lot of leaf surface, and most animals, if you feed it in bales, let's say, or just feed it bulk, or even feed it just in a field, animals will like to eat it. They won't eat the stems, but they'll eat the leaves, and the leaves are huge. But the people who sell it will say that the big benefits, you're going to probably turn when you get to Fruitland, Brad. Remember, there's that place I told you, but it's not for a while. I'm telling Brad that the directions here, because when you go on this trip and come back, it's a little different route. Anyway, they say that it's the small nutrients that are in it. They would say it's, if you can, Mark, maybe find a website where just put in a search term, hemp as a livestock feed, and see what you see for websites. Just put them in the background as we stay on this topic. And audience, put some questions in. And that doesn't have to be about hemp, but that can be about anything. But if you've got questions about hemp, that'd be great. Anyway, it's got the real micronutrients that are unique. And one of them you know about, CBD. There is some livestock feeders who strongly believe that there's a huge value to having a small amount of CBD in your livestock. I think we're way past the time when people worry about, well, you're feeding them psychedelic stuff. Well, that's THC, and you can't grow legally in the United States a cannabis plant that has levels of THC that are high enough to make it something we would call either medical or recreational cannabis, marijuana. You can't grow that and sell it as a livestock feed. It's illegal. So you'd be breaking the law, and I mean so badly they would catch you, because it's real easy to measure THC levels. So you're not going to have to worry about a whole bunch of cows out there being high. I have no idea what THC would do to cattle, but same thing for sheep or horses or goats or alpaca. Any questions, Mark, from anybody on either hemp or anything else?
Okay, I'm looking at.
Mark, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the question.
By the way,
Looking at the question.
Okay. And Mark's showing some websites. I can't see them, so you're going to have to maybe describe what you're showing. I can't remember this company itself. So, as you see a site, maybe if there are pictures of bags or whatever, you'd be able to see the hemp pellets.
Yeah, okay.
They'll
I'll
sell
go to
50 bags or 35-pound bags.
I'll go to a couple of websites here.
Go to a couple of websites here.
Industrial hemp. Okay, this,
Industrial hemp.
let me
Let me
hemp feed for livestock. So this
hemp
is
feed for livestock. So this is
Okay, I'm going to turn left here.
all right. So yeah, here is
so,
the
here's
a site that shows
here's the site that shows
it says the holdup is THC, the Food and Drug Administration.
THC, the Food and Drug Administration.
Views hemp as an alternative
Use hemp
altering
and
substance,
altering
THC.
substance, THC.
That's marijuana.
Right.
That's not livestock.
Right.
So it's a psychoactive compound.
The psychoactive compound.
So
Yeah, that's marijuana. You're not, don't, but we don't need to talk about that.
right.
So again, I said drugs and alcohol, drugs and sex, whatever. Again, that's where I would not call recreational drugs something that are economic. So let's try not to talk about it. Just leave that alone. That you got,
Okay.
that's the way searches work. Mark probably didn't he put in hemp for livestock. And that site came up just as part of a search engine. Does it?
Yeah, this
I
came.
wouldn't have read about it. All right, well,
CBD.
keep looking, keep showing those, Mark. Yeah,
Yeah.
and CBD is just another component. You got to find pictures of cows probably on the website. You'll see.
Right.
Last week, I told everybody that I would see that, and we've been there. Consumer Electronics Show on Thursday. I was at CES on Friday. I was then at the Denver Stock Show, National Western Stock Show on Saturday. And I was at the Denver Sportsman Show on Sunday. And I had different purposes and reasons to be at all three of them. And anyway, at the Ag Show, the Stock Show on Saturday, what else did I see that was kind of cool and different? The hemp livestock feed was cool and different. This is the first time that company had ever had a booth. I watched a little different kind of. Go ahead.
Scooters.
Is that a product? Yeah, I can't see.
Bikes.
Yeah, Mark,
saw,
we don't need to hear about bikes and other stuff.
Okay.
Oh, did you see scooters? That was at CES, Mark. Yeah, we could talk about that. Was not at I'll go back to that, but
All right.
That was what we talked about Friday. So we have a staff call every Friday, and I did that call because I didn't worry about being just distracted, because we can talk about anything and everything. But let me just continue to talk about ag stuff, see if I can get some people to ask some questions. A brand new type of competition between ranches that involved regenerative farming. They were judging different kinds of crops for their nutrient content, nutrient richness, which is something that the Biodynamic Food Association has pushed for a long time. I've spoken at a couple of their conferences, and it's huge. It's a big deal. It's something we really should be paying attention to. So it's the first time I'd ever seen competition related to that. That was cool. I can't think of anything else I saw there that was that unique. I was looking at AI and how it's working. Guys, that will take us back to CES. So Mark mentioned scooters. There are scooters on the market that go 100 miles an hour. 100 miles an hour. I can't imagine riding a scooter at 25 miles an hour, let alone 100, because of the danger involved. If you hit a little rock or something, all of a sudden you're crashing to the ground. But these will go 100. Their range is increased dramatically, but they also will detect if you're weaving or if you are about to crash, and AI will slow them down. So they will govern them, and not just quickly so it throws you off, but throw them down. But what Mark's referring to is when we were doing our staff meeting, there were people coming out of the exhibit hall, because I was sitting right outside it, with scooters with signs on them that said $700, $600. Well, these are ones that 5 minutes before were being exhibited inside, and they were selling for $6,000 and $7,000. Now they're 1/10 the price. The message there is
Oh, Wayne, I think you're muted now. Hello, Wayne. Your audio is not coming through. Hello, Wayne. I think your microphone got muted. Audio is not coming through. Let's see. Some technical issues. Hello, Wayne. Your microphone got muted. Microphone got turned off. Hello, Wayne. Yeah, the microphone is got muted. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, now we can hear you. Yeah.
guys hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Anybody hear me?
Yes. Hello.
Can you hear me? Now it's back.
Yes.
Producer Brad kind of screwed up. Apologize for that. Yeah, hit something on the steering wheel because we were doing this over the cars, the trucks system, and all of a sudden something else was on. We got to stop. So she's got to go to the bathroom, and you're going to get on the interstate.
Right.
So you got to get over, find
Yep.
it, turn on this road or whatever. And you're gonna have to let her out. You gotta put a leash on her, which there's one right behind. Oh, maybe you can't turn. Yeah. We've run into a little issue, everybody. I got a puppy that's gonna be a problem here in a second. She's starting to cry. She's gonna pee in her crate. She's gonna throw up, do something bad. We gotta get off the road. And you're right up there at that sign, you're gonna have to turn on the interstate. So that's maybe a place you could turn. And, there's a gas station right in front of me. That's where we stop for fuel. And there's a leash right behind your crate, right on the back side of it, the same white one that we use. So I was talking about scooters. And I was asking Mark, and I got cut off. When you have a lot of scooters in your country, how fast are they going?
Oh, no, we don't have that fast ones, but maybe the
Why are we getting what's that? Brad, what's going on? Where are you going? It's right, the gas station's right.
That's our hole right here. So I turn around.
I'm just gonna get her out.
Well, everybody, this is very distracting today. I apologize. You can see now, or no, you can't, but we're pulled off the side of the road.
Yeah.
So Scooter's worth something. I saw the very first airplane that can go in the trunk of your car.
Yeah, we saw that. It was like a.
Is she
Um,
up or anything? Can you see? Brad? Brad, is she peed or thrown up or anything? Okay. Go ahead, Mark. Yeah. AI,
Hooray.
huge theme, everybody. I mean, the world, we will not ever see in the next 20 years, I don't think, anything as dramatic as what AI is doing to anything electronic. Any questions or comments or anything in the box, Mark?
I don't see questions yet. I see Alicia saying hello from Annapolis, Maryland. So she's in Maryland today. Uh, and then no, I don't see any questions.
Okay. Well, AI and John Deere, for example, there isn't a piece of their equipment, tractors, diskers, combines, weed sprayers, you name it, that isn't autonomous, not driven by human beings. Literally, the human being programs them, tells them where to go, and then that's it. Sits and has fun, does something else. Autonomous vehicles will become way the norm in the next 10 years. Not everybody's going to have them. I mean, there'll still be lots of things that aren't autonomous. Brad, we don't, did she pee?
What's that?
Did she pee?
No, she spilled her water inside here though.
Just use some paper towels and clean it up. That's maybe why she was crying.
What, you gotta go potty? No.
So AI is huge. And it's going to either be bad or it's going to be good, or it's going to be a combination of good and bad. That's what I think it's going to be. There's going to be some bad things. People are going to do bad things with AI. There's going to be some amazing things that people do or that AI does. And it's really the people that control it. By the way, don't think that AI is just something smarter than humans and running all on its own. That's not happening. It's absolutely all programmed by humans.
Nope. Back here.
So ChatGPT, for example, is only up to date as of September or maybe October now of 2023. So if you ask it questions like, what is the cost of a hotel room in Denver, Colorado today? It can't answer that because it's going to have to say, I have not got data that's current past October of 23. Therefore, I could tell you what a hotel room in Denver cost in October of 23, but I don't have a clue what it costs today. It might say, I could give you an estimate based on what inflation has been prior to October of 23. but it really would not be something you should consider accurate at all. It might have been that water, collapsed on it.
Yeah, it did.
The joy of having puppies. There's a lot of really positives to it, but that's the joy of not so much the joy. What are we doing time-wise, everybody? Oh, we got lots of time. We're barely getting going here. Let's see, what else did I see that was exciting at CES? Lots of innovations with food. You're gonna have to back up. You're not gonna get out of here. Lots of innovations with food processing. Couple amazing ones. An oven about the size of a 5-gallon bucket that will cook your evening meal, a steak or roast or chicken in 30 seconds. And it'll do it exactly in the temperature and the amount of doneness that you want. And unbelievable, and use less energy than obviously one that took an hour to cook something would be. And you're going to turn left right up over the edge of the top of the hill there onto the interstate. A ice cream maker. So here's getting one that's personal because I love ice cream. That's for home use, that will make 15 different flavors, and they're adding all the time, for about $2.50 a serving. And it'll do it in less than a minute and create a soft, kind of a soft texture, but not super soft. It's not like a shake. I mean, you would want to use a spoon to eat it. And they're going to actually provide us one for our community at Riggins Hot Springs, because we're going to probably use it, 50 different servings a day. People will learn about it. Maybe some of them will buy it. And then, but even if they don't, they're going to learn a lot about, does it work well in more of a commercial setting? Because that's what our use will be, it'll be commercial. You won't just be doing like 2 cups of ice cream a night. A brewery unit that will make ales or beers or hard ciders in 3 days. 3 days, where that's typically at least 2 weeks, usually 3 weeks. And it'll do it for dummies. You don't have to know anything. You tell it what the ingredients are going to be. You do have to find the ingredients somewhere. It'll tell you exactly how much hops, how much barley, how much, you name it, to put in. Pour it in the top of a container with some water. And 3 days later, you got, I think it's 2 gallons of whatever it was you told it to make. What else? You got coffee machines, espresso, others that are, again, you don't have to say a maca, wada, gaga, baga, daga, zaba, fuka. Instead, and I'm making all those up, and I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't know those. But instead, you tell it, I want it to have a rich taste. I want the beans to be dark or whatever. I want it to have this feature. I want it to be frozen, whatever. And it'll tell you exactly, again, what you need for ingredients, and it'll make it. A washing machine that'll wash your clothes in 30 seconds. a dryer that'll dry your clothes in 30 seconds. Unbelievable advances. Translators, where you put an earbud in, you talk in your language. Let's say Mark and I were having a conversation in his language, or excuse me, he was not speaking English, and he has a dialect of Arabic, right, Mark? I mean, it would be the Bangladeshi language is
Yeah.
some kind of dialect of Arabic, right?
It's no, it's quite different.
Quite
So
different. Okay. Well,
yeah,
anyway, it doesn't matter what it is. If Mark was talking in that dialect in his language, I'd be hearing it in English, and he'd be hearing what I'm saying in his language. And these things only cost a little bit more than an earbud that you're going to listen to podcasts on, or really high quality music. I could go on and on about different things that are out there in the innovative area. And that's all AI, what I just said there, and all this ability to cook food faster and better, to make beverages faster and better, to speak different languages faster and better. That's all AI. And I think it's all good.
yeah. One question has come up in the community that will AI ever be conscious? So as to understand what it is doing or some in that sort. So that's something.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm going to ask a couple side questions to see if the person who asked that will maybe explain a little bit more what they're wanting to know. By conscience, do you mean, or did they say conscience, Mark, or conscious? Very different word.
Conscious. Yeah.
Conscious. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I thought. Do you mean that somehow you're going to be able to program it to think the way you do? Again, or the way that somebody else does, and give you answers in the same way that consciousness would occur? Answer that one for me, and then I'll answer, because I think it can do that right now. So when I use ChatGPT and I'm asking it to write things for me, yeah, you were screwed up there, Brad. If I'm asking it to write things for me, I tell it my persona, and it knows that I am economic, and I'm gonna think about things that way. And if I talk to somebody, my speech consciously is gonna have that tone to it. I think it is mirroring my consciousness. To a certain degree. Whoever asked the question, does that make sense? And did you get my question to maybe explain a little bit more of what you're asking? Are they writing, Mark? Have you seen anything else?
No, nothing else. A couple of things that were not really at CES. Very little about drones. I said there was one that could go in the trunk of a car, but there weren't. In years past, drone technology huge. It is basically old school now. It's not something GPS is getting more accurate, obviously has to be. That's why autonomous vehicles are going to be more and more prominent. Sensors have to be able to be accurate within inches. You can't have a vehicle driving down the road and have an accuracy of even feet, or they're going to hit each other. By the way, I learned this there about the sensors in either autonomous or semi-autonomous vehicles. I have a semi-autonomous vehicle where I do have to be on my hands on the wheel, but it will correct if I go over a line. And what I learned is most of the autonomous features don't come from GPS. They come from sensing where the lines are on the road. So how are they going to work in snow and ice when there aren't any lines on it? Probably not so well. Let's see what else, because we got a little more time. CES related. I was at CES 2.5 days, really a good part. Oh, I went to the Sphere. I won't say it was bucket list for me, but what an amazing experience. If you haven't heard about it, look it up. Mark, maybe show a video or a picture of it. The Sphere in Las Vegas. It's a new way to look at movies. IMAX, if you remember, 30 years ago was the new way to look at movies. Now the spherical, where the picture is all around you. You're kind of in the middle of the scene. So you can really see things peripherally, all above you, below you, beside you. So it puts you right in the middle of the action. Different than 3D. Unbelievable use of LEDs, because the whole technology is LED related. The quality of any kind of optical displays are just getting better and better and better. You know, 16K, which was state of the art a couple of years ago, is ancient history now. Plasma is ancient history. Smaller and smaller LEDs, which, you know, again, LED is a light enhanced diode. So it's a very, very small beam of light of a certain color. Smaller you make them, the more they can mix together and become a color, something real. I don't understand that technology that well. What else? Very crowded. Either it means the economy's doing really well, people could afford to go. There was 1.7 million people there over 4 days. I think the record is like 2 point something, so it's not a record. Pre-pandemic was the record. Another really discouraging observation as an American, and I'm not a globalist. I do think that the United States is the greatest nation in the history of the world, and that's very selfish, and that's just the way I feel. And that for a long time, until very, very recently, education was the best in the United States. Not only is it not anywhere near the best anymore, it's probably almost third worldish for primary and secondary. I think maybe at the college level, it's still, very good worldwide. Here's where it's scary is at the graduate school level, master's degrees, PhDs, the best of those programs are now in China. And until very recently, people would come to US universities from all over the world, including China, to get the best advanced degrees. Now they go to China to get those degrees. That's scary if you're an American, because it means the Chinese are passing us in terms of innovation, because innovation, economic innovation, making the planet better, typically comes from higher education, not necessarily college, but something advanced in the US. It's not anymore. Not very many green technologies, interestingly. And I use that word very broadly. Sustainability, which I know I don't like using that term because I don't think we want to be sustainable. We want to be regenerative. We want to make things better and keep making them better. We don't want to just make farming, for example, sustainable and stay like it is today. We want it better. The old traditional fence row to fence row wheat farmer will tell you that his farming is very sustainable. People have been doing it since the 1800s. They'll do it at least another 100 years. Then the soil will be a dry lake, rock hard, and grow nothing. That's only 2 or 3 generations away. That's not sustainable in my, it's certainly not regenerative. Maybe it is sustainable. It's as good today or maybe better than it was in the past, but it's not continuing to get better and get better and get better. That's regenerative. Let's see, what else? Mark, what else was I talking about on Friday at CES?
We looked at some flying cars. So that was a drone maybe that could fly. And then I think that was battery operated or solar powered drone that we saw that carries maybe 2 passengers.
No, it only carries one.
One,
And
okay.
there's only one in the world. So it's not like we saw a lot of them. There's one. So
Right. Yeah, that was pretty amazing. I mean, if you have we could use one of those because that could solve up the traffic problem in some places. So if you have a flying car,
yep, the Jetsons would be upon us.
yep, you're getting into the Jetsons era, flying around.
All right, any other questions or comments?
I don't see. I see a link from Alicia. So she's talking about Mulch Matters podcast. Okay, so she has a link to a podcast. We'll check that out. And nothing else.
Alright. Well, again, apologize for some of the glitches today. That truck up there is not being good to you. It keeps going faster and slow. I think we'll maybe call it a little bit early today. Don't need to just keep going. I'm running out of topics. Kind of covered a lot of ground, didn't have a lot of questions. So why don't we just do a last call for questions? And if there aren't any, wait just a few seconds here. Beautiful weather here in Idaho, by the way. Great
And
driving by
anything,
producer Brad.
anything new at the Riggins?
Oh, we brought some new equipment there.
Mm-hmm.
Off-road vehicle,
Right.
utility vehicle, but it'll go about 90 gallons on 90 miles, even longer. I bet it'll go 120, 130 on a tank of gas. And you can carry a second tank real easily. Don't
Right.
have that kind of range yet for a solar UTV. I actually did see a solar UTV. It's not available yet at CES.
Right.
That was kind of cool. And actually, the company that makes it's Chinese, and they're going to give me us a shot at being a fairly early adapter of it once it does come on the market. Let's see. We took that up. We also took up a tractor that we'd had down here, just a sort of a run-of-the-mill Bobcat, small, so we can use that in our farm that we're going to be having up there. It's been colder, but still not freezing really very often. A lot of elk. Oh, we saw an amazing sight today. I wish I could see my screen so I could share it. I'll share it next week. Make sure to remind me. Some mountain sheep out on the roadway that were, 20 feet from us. I mean, I hope I got some good pictures. I'm not a good photographer, but I took a bunch of images of them. Beautiful animals. Very adept at living in canyons like we are in there. But a bunch of elk have been hanging out at our place. I didn't see them this morning. I think the fact that we have our dogs there scares them away a little bit. So anyway, that's about it for Riggins. Thank you, Mark. That's a good question to ask. We're so excited about it. We think it is the economic tomorrow. We're going to be looking for farmers, business builders of any kind to come and live there with us. You bring the expertise and the passion for whatever your topic is. We'll give you the land to do it on, provide you a place to live, and help fund you. Not bad. So if any of you are in that situation, get a hold of us. Very serious about it. We don't believe anyone else is doing it in the world. We've done it for the last 16 years at Mountain Sky Ranch. Now we're going to be doing it at Riggins. One of the things we didn't have at Mountain Sky Ranch was really a very good place for you to live if you were going to do that. Now we do. So, beekeepers, sawyers. Sawyer means a saw. If you can operate a sawmill, hemp growers, alpaca farmers, aquaculture experts, regenerative farmers, regenerative builders, straw bale homes, rock homes. We have lots of rock, log homes, log structures. All those things. We want to be resilient. Live life to the fullest today. Be ready to live life. Things aren't. Some of you may not be in that, some be in the resilient phase with things not so good today. We pray for you, we hope for you. Maybe let us know and we can see if we can help you deal with that and move into the good times. Well, that's probably it for me for today, unless there's other questions or comments, Mark. We're
No, not
creeping
so.
up on the hour. And we go commercial free, everybody. You didn't hear any commercials. We did have
That's
one
right.
clip, so no commercials.
That's right.
We really should have some. We should get some sponsors.
Yes. I think we could get sponsor if we reached out some people. Yeah.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Love you. All those of you listening as replays, don't just listen to the replay, listen to a bunch. We got lots of them. Thanks, Mark. Or Jim, or whatever we call you.
Yeah.
Dad.
Thank you, Wayne.
Week.
Bye.